Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Monday, 9th June 2025, Whit Monday, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. U.S. full travel bans on Haitians under the spotlight. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Haiti's full U.S. travel bans draw criticism, concern from U.S. Florida Haitian Americans. CBS News Miami's Tanya Francois is in Miami's Little Haiti with reaction.
Haiti is the only country in the Americas or even the Western Hemisphere on the list of full travel ban. We spoke to one woman who has plans to move to Haiti at the end of this month. Today, we caught up with her and she said she's not changing them.
It doesn't discourage me. It actually amplifies more of the need of and my why am I going back to Haiti.
CBS News Miami spoke to Rebecca Antoine last month. She was packing, getting ready to move her family to Cap Haitian. Antoine was born in Miami. The travel ban affects Haitian nationals.
I acknowledge my privilege. You know, I am able to travel freely and go back and forth to my country with no stress.
Antoine maintains she's going back to do her part to make the country better. She says a ban prevents more people like her from doing the same.
We know the rhetoric and we see the countries that are listed on the ban and the common denominator of where these countries are located. It should not be a blanket ban.
The majority of the countries are black. You have 7 of the 12 countries which are in Africa. And Haiti.
Paul Christian Numphy is the political director of the Family Action Network. He says the reaction from the people he helps has been shock and outrage.
And we are appealing to decision makers in the United States at all levels, state, federal, local, executive, legislative, judiciary, to really stand with us in this moment of trial.
He is advising all Haitian passport holders, despite their visas, to consult an attorney before leaving the United States.
What this travel ban is saying is, your people are not welcome.
The travel restrictions take effect on Monday. In Little Haiti, Tanya Francois, CBS News, Miami.
In other news, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago Kamla Persad-Bissessar has sent a strong message to Venezuelan authorities, warning that any unauthorized incursion into Trinidad and Tobago's territory will be treated as a serious national security threat. But the Venezuelan government fired back, warning the Prime Minister of her tone and advising her to use diplomatic channels to avoid tension. Tobago Updates reporter Kimberly Mitchell has more in this report.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has sent a strong message to Venezuelan authorities, warning that any unauthorized incursion into Trinidad and Tobago's territory will be treated as a serious national security threat. But the Venezuelan government fired back, warning the Prime Minister of her tone and advising her to use diplomatic channels to avoid tension. Reporter Kimberly Mitchell has more in this report.
Speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing on Thursday evening, the Prime Minister responded to recent remarks by senior Venezuelan officials, including Interior Minister Remigio Ceballos, who suggested that Venezuelan agents may pursue individuals they accuse of de-establishing their country, even beyond their borders.
Where he vowed to pursue anyone attempting to destabilize Venezuela, and I quote his words, as reported. There must be justice. We are going we are going after the gangs wherever they are. I repeat, there must be justice. We are going after the gangs wherever they are. Today I want to make it very clear to the Venezuelan government and officials that they can do whatever they want on Venezuelan territory, but they cannot come here. TNT territory is off limits to them.
Posad-Bissessor did not mince words, stating firmly that while Venezuela has every right to enforce its laws within its own borders, it must not extend those actions into Trinidad and Tobago's sovereign space.
If Mr. Cabello's comments are a veiled threat to enter TNT territory, they should reconsider any such intention. The fact is that as a responsible government, we have to take all threats against any incursion into our territory seriously.
She also revealed that the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard has been placed on heightened alert and given clear instructions to take decisive action if necessary.
I will speak to Minister of Defense and the Attorney General to seek advice on protections for our Coast Guard, to use deadly force on any unidentified vessel entering TT waters from Venezuela, smuggling military able-bodied men and women. TNT is off limits to them.
Addressing recent unrevealed reports that a Trinidadian national was allegedly captured in Venezuela, Prime Minister Posad-Bissessor noted that no credible evidence has been brought forward to substantiate those claims.
I saw also in today's paper where the Venezuelan Justice Minister claimed that the Trinidadian Kendall Geron was supposedly captured in this group. Again, we have seen no evidence to support the comments from these Venezuelan officials.
Meanwhile, the Venezuelan government, through a media release, expressed shock over Prime Minister Kamla Posad-Bissessor's reaction to President Maduro's claims that criminals from Trinidad have entered Venezuela. The Venezuelan government says it has detained individuals of Trinidadian origin who confessed to criminal activity backed by evidence. It criticized the Prime Minister's tone as uncooperative and warned it could harm bilateral relations. Venezuela urged Trinidad and Tobago to address concerns through diplomatic channels and avoid actions that could escalate tensions. Kimberly Mitchell, Tobago Updates Television News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
the United States Department of Treasury. Meantime, through its Office of Foreign Asset Control, or FAC, has officially named Senior Superintendent Himnath Shah, a former Region 1 police commander in Guyana, as a sanctioned individual for his alleged role in a major transnational drug trafficking network. Travis Chase of HGP Nightly News has more.
Former Region 1 Police Commander Senior Superintendent Himnath Shah was today named in a statement from the U.S. Department of Treasury Office of Foreign Assets Control as a drug trafficker. The United States says that Shah is now a sanctioned individual in relation to the transshipping of cocaine from Guyana to the United States. Nightly News had previously reported on Shah's involvement in the 4.4 tons of cocaine discovery in Region 1. He was the commander for that region at the time. He was later replaced as commander of the region and sent to head the transport workshop. The statement from OFAC also named Mark Cromwell, also known as Demon, Paul Dabby Jr., Randolph Duncan, and 2 Colombians as drug traffickers and now sanctioned individuals. The statement said that for decades, Guyana has been a transshipment point for the movement of drugs from South America to the United States. Quote, drug traffickers exploit the rivers and jungles of South America by transiting large quantities of cocaine from Colombia and Venezuela through the waters of Guyana and Suriname, the release said. According to OFAC, Guyana's proximity to the Caribbean, as well as reported corruption along its ports and borders, enables maritime vessels, also known as narco-submarines, to move through its waters undetected. It added that traffickers also arranged the importation of cocaine from Colombia and Venezuela to Guyana via small aircraft, utilizing illegal airstrips in this country. HGP Nightly News will bring you more details on this developing story in a subsequent newscast. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Travis Chase tells us again the government of Guyana is scrambling for answers following explosive sanctions announced by the United States Treasury Department, implicating 4 Guyanese nationals, including a senior-ranking police officer in a Colombian-Guyanese transnational drug trafficking ring.
In light of new United States sanctions instituted by the U.S. Treasury Department on 4 Guyanese nationals, including a senior superintendent of police, for their links to drug trafficking and the Colombian drug network operating in Guyana, the government of Guyana seemed to be in the dark about the presence of the dangerous criminal network and will now venture to seek additional information from the United States on the sanctions. In the meantime, the Ministry of Home Affairs has said Senior Superintendent Himnot Shaw has been sent on administrative leave with immediate effect to facilitate further investigations. Further action will certainly follow, the ministry noted. The U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control announced that Shaw, ex-policeman Mark Cromwell called Demon, Paul Davy Jr., and gold miner Randolph Duncan were among a list of 6 persons, which included 2 Colombians who were sanctioned under Executive Order 14053, which imposes sanctions on foreign persons involved in the global illicit drug trade. Guyana's Vice President Barra Jagdeo, during his Thursday media briefing, said he's not at all surprised by the new sanctions.
Whilst I can't here comment on a direct link, but I would not be surprised. That's what I have to say at this point in time.
The U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control says that Shaw, while being in command of Region 1, ensured safe passage of Colombian and Venezuelan traffickers through Region 1. Shaw was reportedly paid big bucks by the Colombian cocaine bosses. Colombian nationals Ison Andres Sanchez and Manuel Solares Gutierrez are responsible for overseeing the clandestine airstrips used to transport ton quantities of cocaine via aircraft from Colombia to Guyana. In September 2024, following the discovery of 4.4 tons of cocaine in Region 1 by Guyanese officials, Shaw was removed as Divisional Commander of Region 1 and assigned to the Guyana Police Force's Transport Workshop. Also, Paul Davy Jr. and Randolph Duncan are listed as being the operators of the largest drug trafficking organizations in Guyana. Duncan and Davy Jr., according to the U.S., rely on maritime vessels and aircraft to conceal and traffic cocaine, while also allegedly bribing Guyanese officials to facilitate their drug trafficking operations. Davy Jr. trafficked ton quantities of cocaine, coordinating the shipment of loads from Colombia and Venezuela via aircraft and utilizing illegal airstrips in Guyana. According to the U.S., David Jr. also relies on a network of individuals to conceal and transport cocaine in shipping containers from the ports of Guyana and Suriname. He is also involved in the transporting of illegal gold from Guyana via maritime vessels. Duncan, the U.S. says, traffics cocaine from Guyana to Africa and the Caribbean, with Europe and the United States as the ultimate destinations. Mark Cromwell, called Demon, a former member of the Guyana Police Force, is listed as a violent drug trafficker and associate of Davy Jr. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
The Africa Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, continues its work to foster investment and deepen collaboration between Africa and the Caribbean. Acting Regional Chief Operating Officer of the Afrexim's Caribbean Office, Okichukwu Ihejerika, says it is an area that has not received much attention in the past. Since the hosting of the first Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum in Barbados, he says a platform has been created to facilitate business-to-business investments. Take a listen.
Barbados became an entry point for a very important event. So we think this has panned out so well. The foundation, you are absolutely correct, was built in Barbados in 2022 when the first Active was held, where we saw a lot of exchanges. I think deals worth over $2 billion was signed at that event with attendance of over 1,200 people. Interestingly, a lot of the people who came in from the continent to Barbados for that event had actually found a way to come back on their own because they saw what are the opportunities there. And for us, this is a win-win situation.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.